Good evening, everybody, and welcome to That's Good Pasta, our creepypasta podcast about creepypastas. I think we got it that time. I'm Thomas, and with me, as always, is my
Jared.
producer. God damn it.
I'm going to
My
start doing them
producer,
wrong for once.
my tech boy, the scamp of That's Good Stuff, and his name would be...
I already said it.
Okay, he said it. So, Jared, as you said your name, we have a tale today. And
As old as time?
I mean, we can't sing that because we'll get copyrighted. We have a tale from a place where you get fuel and
Petrol station.
Tales from the petrol station. Yes, that doesn't sound as creepy.
No.
Honestly,
That just sounds like a bad Monday or something.
Yeah. Today we have Tales from the Gas Station by Jack Townsend. This particular creepypasta was released around 2018, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Yeah. Not as old as you think, at least. At least I didn't think so. And it's kind of a unique one. It's not exactly a full story. It is kind of like a amalgamation and anthology of like stories that sometimes connect but sometimes just don't, and just a bunch of random incidents that happen at this little gas station at the edge of the town where it's a 24-hour gas station, and it's just one of those little crappy, in the middle of nowhere gas stations that everybody's passed by. And this one just happens to be the center of all kinds of spookiness and weird happenings and eldritch beings, apparently.
It's kind of like Courage's house.
It's kind of like Courage, yeah. The middle of nowhere type thing. So, Jared, have you gone through this one before?
I've gone through some of it. I didn't go through all of it.
Okay.
Just the first part.
So with me, I listened to this like back when it first came out, and it was a bunch of like random like posts that again didn't really all connect together, so it's kind of hard to follow sometimes. But it's very much like Welcome to Night Vale. It's that just like it happens like in this one town, like spooky things happen. You don't need to listen to the other parts to understand what happened to the next story going on.
Was this part originally on like what is that podcast? The No Sleep not No Sleep, but
I don't think it was No Sleep, but
one of those podcasts.
Yeah, this definitely got some traction later on. And then Mr. Creepypasta got his. I think this was like his first big one.
His grubby hands on it.
Well, he got the audiobook deal from the author. He actually read the audiobook for him. But yeah, this was kind of interesting, and we listened to season 1. It's kind of odd how they're broken up, and what we are listening to, we'll post the Spotify link because I sent the Spotify one to Jared because it's a bit more condensed into like something that we can actually listen to. We'll put the link in there and see if you guys want to try to make sense of it, because if you go into Mr. Creepypasta's playlists, all the gas station ones are kind of out of order, just kind of when they came out. So that's the thing. I don't think everything was written chronologically. I think they were just written like there's this one part I remember going through them, and because this is all okay. Sorry. So we're going to go into some of the summary here. This is all told by the attendant, the gas station attendant, that apparently has a condition.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Where he just doesn't sleep since like what, high school? Is that what he said?
Yeah.
So he just doesn't sleep. Hasn't slept in like 4 years. And this is just him basically accounting. Supposedly this is on Reddit because they said like upvotes and stuff like that. This is him transcribing his journal entries that he makes on receipt paper throughout his shift at the gas station. Now, there are all kinds of weird things that happen at this gas station. He talks about basically like it's like it's that run-of-the-mill gas station that you run into at the edge of town before you get on the road, and you walk in and everything's like mispriced or whatever. Everything's kind of grungy, but there's like some pretty weird stuff that happens here. Like we have this raccoon brood that's been like what do you call it? That's been incessant. I can't say it. Interbreeding with each other, and now they're like all mutated and weird. But they have like this 3-foot raccoon by the name of Rocco, who's the alpha male. That he'll just like run around and steal things. He also mentions like some supernatural things that happen supposedly every now and then, like the bathroom cowboy, the bathroom cowboy. And apparently, if you sometimes, not all the time, if you go into the bathroom, there'll be this guy dressed as a cowboy just sitting in one of the stalls or by the sink going, "Come on with us. Come on with it."
Do
That's
you
just what he
think
says.
this gas station has that person they talk about in Clerks with the eggs?
Customer just said,
Wait,
is she in here?
this guy's going through all the eggs. Look. This has been going on for 20 minutes now.
Well, what's he looking for?
Said he has to find the perfect dozen.
Perfect dozen?
Yeah, each egg has to be perfect.
Possibly, or the egg, or the milks. So, what do you call it, the milkmaids?
The milkmaids.
The milkmaids?
The women that go through every gallon of milk looking for that later date, as if somewhere beyond all the other gallons is a container of milk that won't go bad for like a decade.
Was it milk?
No, it was milk and eggs.
Oh.
Like the milkmaids are the one that have to go through like literally every gallon of milk
To see
if they
the-
can find
The-
the newest
yeah.
the newest one. It's like even though they're all basically the same except for like 2, and then you have the one guy who's obsessed with all the eggs.
Gives them little tests.
But yeah, so there's some pretty weird things that happen with this, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing because it was a
Impossible.
2-hour. Yeah, it was a 2-hour like chronological, and I think they're kind of written that way. Is that they're very unreliable? It's a very unreliable narration because the guys, it's not narcoleptic. What's the opposite? Where you don't sleep.
Narcolepsy.
No, that's where you do sleep.
Oh,
It's
it's
like where you
insomnia.
Insomniac. So this guy is basically kind of in a fever dream, and that's kind of how it's written. It's honestly pretty well written, in my opinion. It's a very odd way of writing. It's kind of like a fever dream.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Jared, I want to ask, since did you go through all 2 hours?
Yes.
Okay. So what were your favorite parts?
A lot of my parts were at the end, except for the one where he first talks about. I'll talk about this one, and then you can talk about yours because I want to talk about the last one, and that kind of, I guess, has spoilers. But there's the part where he's talking to I can't remember who he's talking to somebody, and he's mentioning that he can't sleep. He hasn't slept since high school, and I think it's Marlboro. He's like, that's probably why you can't.
Marbo.
Yeah, and he's like, that's probably why he can't reach you. And he's like, who can't reach me? And it's just like him. I can't see him.
The only safe way to refer to this king of darkness is simply him.
It's like, it's like, duh. But and then the other part was with the raccoons. He called them something. It was hilarious. He's like those thieving little jerks or something like that. That made me laugh. There's some funny humor in this. There's some cringier parts, but there is some good. Not too many cringy parts. I was expecting more, but there is some kind of in the middle. It's mostly with. Oh, and I want to say, because I usually give Mr. Creepypasta some crap. He did some good reading on this one. He really gave it his all. But was there other?
There was one more. There was at least one more.
The other guy did get too.
Yeah, I like that one. That's probably. Well, I'll get into that in a second. So finish your stuff.
Other than that, I like the setup. Oh, I like the part where they're talking about the things growing. They look like baby fingers. And
Hand plants.
Yeah, and he's like, I see fingernails growing on them right now. and he was just talking about that. I thought that was a good scene. But yeah, other than that, the last part I want to talk about, but those were some standouts.
Well, I like in the first one, it's like, what do you mean half a pig came inside the store? It's like, half a pig walked into the store. Like, it's just right down the middle.
I do like how casual they are with like death and all this crazy stuff.
Death, like ghosts. The guy, they keep mentioning like a guy in the trench coat. The guy in the trench coat won't leave. It's like, what guy in the trench coat? That one. You know what I mean.
I like when he's like, "Aren't you supposed to be dead? Aren't you?" And he's like, "Fair, touche."
Touche. But yeah, just like stuff like that. He'll mention stuff like that, like, "Oh yeah, I killed this guy last week," but he'll just like mention it like in a one-off sentence and be like, "Wait, hold up, what?"
Yeah, there's that one scene where they're in the storage closet or something like that, and he's like, "I just killed what's his name," but then there's like 4 others in here. Where'd the other 2 come from? And you're like, "What?"
Well, okay, so like my favorite part is probably the replacement, the guy that they got to, because the main narrator apparently got into an accident of some kind, and he got sent home. He's like the only full-time employee. They had like this like previous guy, I think it's Marbo, right? That is the second narrator, and he transcribes kind of like what's going on with the narrator.
Yeah.
And basically during this whole part where Marbo's basically jotting down all this guy's notes, the attendant basically goes through this whole tale of this guy that kind of keeps reappearing, even though they swear he keeps dying or gets killed by something. His name's Kiefer.
Yeah.
Kiefer. And so at the beginning of the story, they have like these things called hand plants, and you don't really know what the hand plants are, but you assume they're just potted plants that have hands. And they also had like Farmer Brown Jr. and Farmer Brown that are kind of interested in these things. And the attendant is pretty much obsessed with destroying these things. He doesn't know why, but he thinks that would be a good idea if these things didn't exist. And so whenever they get them in, he ends up destroying them. So throughout like it's like the only real like connecting story, I think, besides maybe the Mathematists, which is a cult that live on the edge of the town.
Like the small things come back at the end.
Right. And so there's these things called the hand plants, and what he learns is that one of the hand plants got basically free of somehow, and it got planted out into the forest behind the gas station. And this hand plant keeps growing copies of Kiefer, because Kiefer keeps showing up. Either he like dies in a horrible accident, or one of the part-time employees accidentally kills him. Like, oops, my bad, killed him again. Like, what do you mean again? Again. And so he just learns that this hand plant is also something much larger underneath the gas station, and maybe like an eldritch horror of some kind. And he's like, well, that's about all I got to say for that. And this kind of keeps continuing on. You're just like, but what? And so that one is probably my favorite part, just because it genuinely got kind of creepy right there. And I was kind of able to, because I didn't finish the whole thing. Work's been crazy, so is school. But I was able to listen to about an hour and a half or so.
Have you finished this before?
I swear I have,
okay.
But the thing is I don't know what I finished, is because everything is so like discombobulated. I don't know where it starts. That's why I sent you the Spotify link, because like this is season 1. He also has like a Christmas special. If you go on to Tales from the Gas Station, if you go to gasstationjack.com, you can basically read everything the guy has written about the gas station, because you have Tales from the Gas Station, Something Weird Came into the Gas Station Last Night, Finding Vanessa. Don't know what that is.
I don't remember Vanessa.
A Gas Station Christmas, which is a big one, by the way. Apparently that was a really big one.
I bet that one's funny.
Creepypasta. He had an Upside Down, which this came out after
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. You have Death at the Gas Station, A Murder at the Gas Station, The Tale of the Spider Folk, which I'm not touching that one.
Pumping Up at the Gas Station.
April Fool's Day at the Gas Station, and Tales from the Road. That's the newest one. That's the newest one that's been published this year. So it's still kind of ongoing. So it's almost kind of like Twin Peaks, almost, I think, where just things just kind of don't make sense. They just kind of keep getting weirder and weirder and weirder.
Yeah.
But in my honest opinion, I really like this because you can kind of hop into wherever you want, and it's still just kind of a fun listen.
I do like that part where he's like, "Hey guys, where's Marbelow?" And they're like, who is Marbelow?" And he's like, the guy right there." And they're like, "Jerry?"
Yeah. Oh yeah, his name is Jerry. I forgot about that. But yeah, like, and that's what's kind of fun about this too, is that you think that you know what's going on, and then the next, like, there's this one part where, and I remember listening to this in chronological order a while back, when you had like the first like 4 parts, but it's part 1, 2, 4, 5, and because he's like, "Oh yeah, sorry about that part 3, but don't worry about part 3. That's not that didn't happen. So sorry about all that craziness." And he like goes into like very vague details about what happened in part 3. He's like, "But there is no part 3, so we're good. Don't worry about it. It's not existing anymore. So don't worry about it."
Did you get to the part where they get high?
No, I haven't gotten that part.
Oh, okay.
Because I got high. La, da, da.
I'll leave that one.
No. What happened? Like, what happened there?
I don't remember the specifics, but there's a part where they get high, and it's pretty funny because they're all there and they're just like. That's when he's like, I think that's when he's like, "Where's Marbelow?" Because he was like, "Am I high out of my mind, or was there actually a Marbelow here?" But
well, you have like stuff like that, and then like random things will happen at like. I swear there's like an alien that shows up at one point. It's like, I think I saw an alien. Maybe that wasn't me. I don't know.
my
Something
favorite
happened
part
last
was at the end, and there's a dark god that they mentioned at the beginning. And
did that actually get mentioned again?
yeah, that part's really good. I don't want to give anything away, but there's this part where he's like, he comes face to face with it, and he's like, "I can't see you. It's too dark." And he's like, "That's what dark god means." And he's like, "Can you at least turn on the light a little bit so I can see you?" And he turns on the light. It's like way too bright. He's like, "Stop! Turn it off." He's like, the middle.
Well, so okay, do you like the setting for this one? Because to me, this is what kind of drew me in, was just the setting.
Yeah.
Because we've all been through a gas station in a town where it's just like, oh, this is kind of creepy.
Yeah.
But to me, the setting is probably the best part of this, and the zany characters are a lot of fun. The actual genuine creepiness of some of the parts.
Yeah, I like that it can be funny too.
Yeah. So we're kind of coming into the end of like because honestly, you should go listen to this, because it can't really be summarized unless we just read through the whole thing, and we're not doing that.
Yeah.
If you want, and I swear to God, I texted Jared this when I said, "Hey Jared, what do you do Tales at the gas station? It'd be a lot of fun." "Oh, let's do that one." The next day, Creepcast comes out with Tales at the gas station, and I texted Jared like, "They're in the walls."
They've been copying us ever since we started.
Like, it's crazy. Like, I don't know. It's nuts.
Because I was like, let's do the house walkthrough. They're not going to cover that. It's kind of old. And then they covered it, and I was like, what the son of a...
Son of a gum-chewing funk monster! Why the fruit does all this funny stuff happen to me? Forget my life! Always surrounded by miserable, failing clods, like this whole world just likes to bend me over and find me in the Alps!
We know you're watching. We know. We see you.
The 2 subscribers are them. We're like, damn.
Dang it. So... For like, you should go see or read this or listen to it. There are a few renditions. You have Mr. Creepypasta, and then you have this other, I forgot who it was. I'll look it up in a minute. They actually did a full like cast reading of Tales from the Gas Station. It's very interesting.
Yeah, they did a really good job. They had some the Spotify one I listened to, they have effects and everything, and like kind of really good production.
There's another one called Creepy Horror Podcast, and they do Tales from the Gas Station as well.
I think that's the one I'm talking about.
Okay, that's a good production. I like that one.
I think I used to listen to them when I was in the warehouse and I'd be up by myself. I think those were the
What's
ones
it
I
with
listened.
What's it with warehouse workers and creepypastas? Like that's just our thing apparently.
We should make one where dudes on forklift certified creepypastas.
Apparently, if you go to written by section in creepy or horror podcast, it's written by Gas Station Jack instead of Jack Townsend.
So did this guy go on to write anything else, or?
I don't think so. Like nothing prevalent, not that I know or I've seen. But he has kept this going for a while. Like he has an update pretty much every year, which I think is kind of cool.
I had to try one of the Christmas ones because that sounds fun.
Apparently, that's a big one in Mr. Creepypasta's channel. So we might try that one for Christmas time, maybe. We'll see.
Does Mr. Creepypasta still do the new ones, or like?
Yes, as far as I know, like he's been
cool.
updating them as much as he's been putting them out. So it's kind of cool. So, dear listeners, we're going to spoil y'all and give y'all a bit of a true creepypasta that also involves a gas station. So,
I think this has been on the other channel too, but you're gonna get the full story here. Thomas loves the story.
well, okay, this is generally probably the most frightening thing we've been through.
Genuinely, it could be a movie, but
So back in 2011, right?
something like that.
We were moving Jared's parents back from Kansas to Texas, and it was a long trip up there, long trip back. And on the trip back, me, Jared, Joseph, who was driving a box truck, which I don't know how he did that because I don't think Joseph had ever driven a box truck before. Anyway, not really relevant to that part of the story. But anyway, me and Jared are driving back, and we stop in this little tiny town, and I don't honestly know what state we were in. Do you know?
I don't remember. It had to have been still in
It was either
Kansas.
It was
right?
either Kansas, Oklahoma, or North Texas. I have no clue.
It makes sense that it'd be Oklahoma, but
That's kind of what I think it was because it was this.
just off the
tiny town.
air of Oklahoma, so
Yeah. it was like this like 2-street town, like at the most. Like there was like hardly anything to this town. And we had to get gas because we were pretty much dry. And
there's some kind of event going on too.
there was something going on because there was a ton of people around, but not really interacting with us. Like they're kind of like you would almost like see them in the shadows, like looking at us, while we're driving down the street. And we pull into this gas station, and it is. I've never because I'm a spiritual person, but not in that. I'm not like an open like oh yes the Lord I feel it, but I could sense like this evil presence.
Very uncomfortable town.
Like just something was just off. And we like pull into the gas station. Me and Jared both get out, and on the ground are
Oh yeah,
like millions of beetles.
ungodly amount, like a plague.
Like it looked like a plague from Egypt, like beetles and locusts, or not locusts, grasshoppers. And
They were fighting.
they were killing each other. Like millions of these bugs were killing each other.
In midair.
Well, there's this one part where this beetle flew up. This grasshopper flew up to catch it and started eating it midair. And we're just like,
It's all over like the pumps. It's all over like the streets everywhere.
it was on like it was the street lamps. It was on the lamps on the gas station. This is at night too. It was like what 2 a.m, something like that. And
And
'cause
of
we were driving
course,
straight
yeah,
through.
yeah, and of course I had to go to the bathroom, so we needed to go inside the gas station.
Went inside the gas station. There's probably like 5 or 6 like teenagers hanging out in the front and in the checkout station.
They do that terrible thing that I hate when like workers are talking with their friends and you gotta go like interact with them and you're just like, can I get my thing? And they're just like, ah.
God. But these kids were just like.
But when we came to them, they
Like
stopped
raw dog.
talking. They stopped talking amongst themselves. They didn't talk to us.
It's like death glared us. Like it was crazy, and like we were like I was like 21 at the time. I wasn't that old, and these kids were maybe 16, 17. So I'm not much older than them. So I'm just like, hi, nothing, not a word, just death glares.
Thomas
And
like,
I'm
hello,
"Alright."
fellow youths.
Hello, youths, and. I go and get a snack. Jared has to go to the bathroom. I don't know if you had to get a key or not, but it was still uncomfortable as hell.
No, I didn't have to, but it was bad.
It was weird. Like I paid for like some gummy bears. I'm like, cool. I let's just get the hell out of here. I didn't even get gas. Like I prayed that there was some gas down the road. We found something eventually, but even when we were driving out, there were like these drunk teenagers in their trucks, like basically chasing us.
Yeah, we come out and there's like people on the buildings, or I guess like on the porches and stuff like that, just yelling.
Yeah, just yelling at us.
They're outsiders.
Yeah, pretty much. Felt like a freaking Stephen King book. And then there's that one part where like these guys in the truck like pull out in front of us. They almost tip the truck over, and there's people like in the bed and everything, like screaming, yelling at us, like flipping us off.
My parents did not get out of the car. They stayed in there.
They stayed in the car, and like it was crazy. Like it was, and I'm not even like trying to be like super like, oh no, it's scary. No, it was generally one of the scariest moments of my life where I'm just like, this is where we might die. Like we might get
These people are gonna be smited and turned into salt pillars or something.
Yeah, it was crazy, and the bugs were just like the icing on the cake.
It was like Bible plagues the town. It was
like people come out and they have like sores and like.
I still don't know where we were.
I have no clue. I kind of want to say it was like a cursed town. It was a portal to hell, and we just drove through it.
We got a glimpse.
Because we got a glimpse of hell. Because again, I have no clue what state we were in, what town it was, nothing.
Listeners, if you know where it is, let us know. Maybe this is a yearly thing.
Yeah. I have no idea where this town is. It's somewhere in between Kansas and Texas, or maybe in Kansas or Texas. I don't know. And I don't even know what gas station it was. I think it might have been an Allsup's.
It was a Valero or one of those.
Even worse. Oh my god. But yeah, just insanely creepy. And I think that's kind of like what hit the neurons, like nostalgia in my brain for that creepy feeling of going into a gas station where it's probably not the safest environment. So I think that's why I like this story so much, honestly.
I don't know if that's like a Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico centric thing is the creepy gas stations.
Definitely like on the plains type thing.
Yeah, because when you go, there's some little gas stations in like these little towns that are just like, you feel like they're evil or like racist or something like that, and you're just like, you don't want to get down, but you have to.
Gotta pee.
Yeah.
Gotta pee. And I think that's part of what makes this like scarier in a way, is that I can imagine this little gas station on the edge of the highway in blackness. There's nothing around it. Like, because that's every other small town gas station that I've gone to, like as a kid, and it's just terrifying.
Dude, road trips back in the day seemed darker. Like when you were a kid, it felt like pure black. Like when you were out in the middle of the road,
darkness. But yeah, so I think that's about all I got for this one. What do you think, Jared?
Yeah, we told our famous gas station story.
Our gas station story, and then Jack comes out with one, and what do you call it?
Creepcast will have one somehow.
Yeah, Creepcast will have one. Yeah.
Somehow, Papa Meat and Wendigoon went to a gas station together. It's like, no, we liars. That's our story.
That's our story. If they do that, then we know. We know that they're watching us. So, but yeah, I think that's about all I got for this one. Did you have one that you wanted to do next time?
I haven't really thought about it. Been kind of busy, but I'll think of something.
Me too. It's been crazy. We've been trying to record, by the way. It's been nuts.
We missed a week because it was so bad that week.
Yeah.
But we're trying to get back.
Yeah, we're trying. Like with school going on and just work being nuts, it's crazy. So I am sorry that we haven't been as consistent as we used to be.
Also, we're still in that position where we're like, what do we do next? Because
I can't figure it out, guys. But we're gonna try to be consistent at least, if not every week, every 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
we will keep going. It's just
We like to do it every week, but
yeah, it's just this time is kind of busy for us, so I apologize for not getting everything out as soon as we can. So that's on me, not as much as on Jared, because Jared can't do anything until I come up with the damn story. So yeah, so hopefully we'll see you guys very soon. But just letting you know, it's been crazy. I apologize. So, but hope you guys enjoy this one. Please go listen to it. It's a lot of fun. I love this one. I think it's my brother's favorite one of all time. Which cool, not judging. So
I'm judging. I'm looking at you, Joe.
He knows him. Oh God. All right. Well, that's all I got, Jared. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Take us out.
All right.
I've never done this before.
Sorry. All right, everybody. Stay creepy out there. Bye.